Hey, you guys. Hey, thanks for joining the channel. Recovery and Spirituality with Danny Lansdale. Hey, you want to hear a badass story of recovery, overcoming addiction? Hey, this is my story, and it was on a Zoom meeting, and it was recorded, so I'm going to share that with you. Hey, it's the same story that millions of people on the planet have done. It's a 12-step story. I hope you enjoy it. Hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be posting videos every week. So, hey, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Please welcome our main speaker for tonight, Danny.
All right, you guys. Hey, my name's Danny. I'm an alcoholic.
Danny!
Yeah, and I got a sobriety date of January 2nd, 2012. And this is kind of a little different, and God bless this Zoom that we get to have these meetings. It's super important to us in our community, and I like it that we're persevering. And that's my sobriety date, and I've had a bunch of sobriety dates, and I always like to start off with this little story when I was young, when I noticed this feeling. And so when I was 14 years old, I was living with my folks down in Newport Beach, and my mom was a judge, and my dad was a Laguna Beach police officer, and then he became a private investigator, and they were really, really good people, and I didn't want for anything, but I was 14 years old, and I was grounded for, I don't know what it was, but I remember they were going out for the night, and my mom tells me, "Hey, Danny, we're going out for the night. No friends, no phone, no TV, don't go anywhere, make sure that you're here." And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be right here. You guys go have a good time. So they leave, and then after they leave, I'm like, okay, I got a couple hours to go screw around. So I go down to the pier, and I meet with my friends, and we pimp some Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill, some good wine, and I'm going out to the beach. I'm getting kind of screwed up. We're smoking some weed. We're having a blast. And then I'm like, okay, I need to get back to my house. So as I'm walking back to my house, I look, and I'm approaching the house, and as I'm getting closer, I see their car right out in front of the house. And I'm like, I am so busted right now. I don't want to go in there. Because my dad was kind of violent, and it was just, I did not want to go in there. And I'm just like, I don't want to go in there. So I just made this decision that I'm just never going to go home ever again. I'm just never going to go home. So I went back down to the pier, down with my friends, and we're drinking some more, and we're smoking some more, and it's getting late. And I'm asking my friends, I'm like, hey, can I stay at your house tonight? No. Can I stay at your house tonight? No. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm a little kid, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll go sleep on the beach. So I stagger out to the beach, and I lay down in the sand, and I'm all drunk and wasted, and I'm thinking, it's kind of cold out here. It was like the middle of January out at the beach. But there was this other feeling that was stronger than that. I was drunk, I was high, and I thought, and it gave me the courage and I had this feeling that at least I'm doing whatever the hell I want to do, and I don't have to listen to anyone tell me anything. And for me, that was freedom. Being drunk, having that feeling inside of me gave me courage to be able to tell the whole world, basically, fuck you. And I liked that feeling. And I chased that feeling because that feeling for me was freedom. I didn't like the way I felt just normal. I didn't like going to school. I didn't like chores. I didn't like working. I didn't like any of that stuff. All I like to do is be around my friends and party, and that felt like freedom to me. There were times though, chasing that feeling of freedom where it just wasn't so pretty. Like I was being in this garage, working on a bicycle for like 11 days, just like, what the hell? And I can hear this little voice in the back of my head. And it's my mom's voice. And it's saying, Danny, you are so smart. You are so intelligent. Can't you see that stuff is ruining your life? Can't you see it's destroying you? That you can be anything you want to be if you just put your mind to it. And I can hear that voice. And I think, she's right. What am I doing? This stuff is ruining me. I need to go get sober. I need to get sober so I can live to my potential. I need to get sober because this is a mess. So back then I had to call a treatment center, which by the way, I've done 10 treatment centers in my life, and I've spent, not that I'm proud of, I spent 15 years of my life in the penitentiary. I've been all up and down the great state of California, from Folsom to Ironwood to Calipatria to Chino, and I've been all up and down. And, it's just a mess. But so back then, I decided that I'm going to get sober because this stuff is ruining me. So I'd call the treatment center. Back then it was a rock center, and I called them every day until I get a bed there. And then they say, come on in, we have a bed for you. So I get to the treatment center, I get to the rock center, and I am feeling okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get sober, and I'm going to be amazing. This stuff is ruining my life. I'm going to be amazing. So on intake, they're like, okay, you got to get a sponsor. You got to work these steps. You make your bed every day. You got to do your chore. You got to go to these feelings groups. And I'm like, I am on board. You guys are saving my life. I'm going to be awesome. And then I get into there. And then 2 weeks later, I'm holding hands with a bunch of freaking weirdos in a prayer circle. I don't feel amazing. I don't feel awesome. This is weird, man. This is not it. So I'd go back out there. And here's another weird thing, too. Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous, right? So, I'd go to these treatment centers and they would say, okay, everyone, and I've been in and out of prison and just running amok and doing all these other things. And so I get to there and they tell me, okay, you're going to go to an AA meeting and you're going to get a sponsor. So I'm like, all right, okay. So I go to this AA meeting and I get a sponsor. And the sponsor tells me, okay, here's a highlighter. Read the doctor's opinion. Read Bill's story. I want you to highlight stuff that you can relate to in there. And I'm like, all right. So I'm reading Bill's story. I'm reading the doctor's opinion. And I'm going through Bill's story. A stockbroker from the 1930s? Like what? Drinking bathtub gin? Dr. Bob's a proctologist? Like what is this? I don't identify with these guys. I maybe identify with Dr. Bob a little bit. I don't know. Maybe. But the thing is, I'm reading this stuff and I'm looking through here and I don't identify. I'm a convict junkie. I like to shoot heroin. I like to smoke speed. I like to do crime. I spent years in a penitentiary in a prison cell, and I'm looking through the book and I'm not finding any gang member people in there. I'm not finding none. I'm like, I don't relate to any of this stuff. I don't. But see, the thing is, I was very shallow back then. I was very shallow, and all I did was look at the freaking differences of people, and I suffered from this thing that we call terminal uniqueness. I am so freaking different. You don't understand me. You haven't been to the places I've been. You don't get what I get. And this Alcoholics Anonymous, this is not it. But like I said, I was shallow then. I wanted to separate myself from everybody. But here's the thing. There's this one thing that crosses all boundaries, and that's feelings. I know what pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization feels like. I know what it feels like to be the biggest disappointment in my family's life, even though I don't want to be. I know what it feels like to keep going after something and keep thinking I'm capable of great stuff, and as I achieve those great things, I tear it to freaking pieces, all because of me and my feelings. I know what it feels like to be compelled to keep messing with the substance, even though it's tearing my life to pieces, but it's the only relief I can get, and I'm gonna do it anyway. See, it's not the gin, it's not the whiskey, it's not the heroin, it's not the speed, it's not the meth, it's not the Xanax, it's not the weed, it's none of those things, it's me. I suffer from a spiritual malady, and I suffer inside, and I can't stop tripping on me and my own feelings all freaking day long. It's a disease of self-obsession. Today, I find myself on every single page. Just because my prison was a prison on the 5th tier of Folsom behind bars doesn't mean that my prison was any worse than a man that has a giant business that's drinking himself to death and wants to take himself out with millions of freaking dollars. It is the same feeling. I identify. We all identify. This is a problem because I suffer inside and I can't stop tripping on myself. You know, I got this analogy. You know, I love Alcoholics Anonymous so very much because we're all the same. We all suffer. We all have a problem. And the problem is obsession with our feelings. That's the most important thing to an alcoholic, I believe, is our feelings. Because we can't stop tripping on them. But I got this analogy, and it's like I lived my whole life in this dark, cold, lonely cave. I'm deep inside that cave, and it's cold and lonely, and all I got is these rocks. And I'm in this cave, and I'm banging these freaking rocks together in this cave, and I'm getting some sparks, and every once in a while I get a little spark, I get a little fire going, and I'm like, this is it. Woo, I am warm in here. Look at the little fire. And then the fire goes out. And then I'm back in this cave and I'm beating these rocks and I'm banging these rocks together and I'm banging them together and I get a little spark, I get a little fire and I'm like, I am warm again. Woo, this is great. And then the fire goes out. Meanwhile, people are walking by the mouth of the cave and they're looking in there and they're like, Danny, what the hell are you doing in there? Don't you know that there's a life out here full of dignity, courage, respect, full of laughter and joy and families and marriages and kayaks and rivers and mountains and rainbows? And like, what are you doing in there? Get out of the freaking cave. And I look at them and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about all that stuff. I'm going to bang these rocks. And I'm banging the rocks and I'm banging the rocks and I get a little fire and it goes out and then eventually I'm banging these rocks and I'm like, hey, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? And they're like, take these 12 steps out of the cave. All right, okay, all right. All that happy ass shit out there. So I put the rocks down, I start taking 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps, and then I turn around and I look back at my rocks and I'm like, we had some good times, man. Remember we were making shadow puppets on the wall? Remember we were dancing around the fire? Hey, I'm gonna go back here, you guys. And I go back to the freaking rocks, banging the cave, banging the rocks. Over and over. Because that's the only happiness I've ever known. And I don't believe in that shit out there. But this last time, I'm not getting any fire. I'm banging them to the point of exhaustion. And then I yell one more time out there, hey, how do I get out of here? And they're like, take these 12 steps. All right, 1 step, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's getting a little warmer. And it's getting a little brighter. And something trippy's happening to me. 8, 9. And I'm getting outside the mouth of the cave. And I'm like, hey, this ain't half bad. And then 11, 12 and I'm outside the cave and I go down the mountain and I'm sitting in the sunshine and I'm looking around and I'm seeing all this beautiful stuff and I'm seeing families and people getting married and relationships and I feel bright and happy and I'm like, hey, why didn't you tell me about this years ago? What the hell? And then now I look back on that mountain and you know what I see? Thousands of caves, thousands and thousands of caves, thousands of people trapped in the bondage of self. And I am compelled today to try to help every single one of them because I know that there's a way out. I want to shout this stuff from the rooftops. I know there's a way out and I want to help them all. It's my mission in life, service. See, there's this other part to this. You know, I read this letter years ago, and it was from King George III, and he wrote this letter, and it was to one of these townspeople in the village, and he signs it at the bottom of the letter, "Your humble servant, King George III." Your humble servant? Why would you sign it, "Your humble servant, King George III"? And I think, you know what? You have an army, you have a castle, you have a fleet of ships, you have gold, you have money, you have every freaking thing you could ever think of. Why would you say your humble servant? Is that a joke? But if you think about that concept deeply, all the greatest leaders of the planet, all the greatest kings and queens, and the greatest leaders that have ever gone down in history as a great leader, they all have one thing in common. They serve the people. They serve the people. They put the welfare of the people ahead of their own. They are servants. A leader that serves himself by himself, for himself, and trips on himself all freaking day long is a tyrant. I was a tyrant in my life. It was all about me. Because see, if service is beneath you, leadership is way beyond you. I didn't understand that. I was just taking and taking and taking and taking my whole life. I wanted everyone to serve me. That's not it. It's the law of reciprocity. You know, some weird stuff. You know, I could never see anything. Like, I could never see anything in my life. I couldn't see stuff, man. Like, you know, when I'm in prison, right? I'm in prison. I'm working out. I got the yard. I'm making sure people are breaking off my little get down. And I'm freaking in my cell. And I'm like, you know, man, I'm a soldier in here. You know, man, I'm somebody. And I'm like, hey, so this is the way, and I'm telling my cellie, hey, check this out. You know, we're soldiers, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, we don't take, it's about respect and disrespect. We don't let no one disrespect us because we're solid men. And he's like, yeah, that's right. But we get busy. We don't let no one talk crap to us, you know, because we're solid. And then I'm asking him, hey, you know what the problem with life is? Like, I really know the problem with life. I'm in my underwear and I'm waiting for them to open my cell so I can go get chow. Like, I know what the problem with life is. Like, I don't know. And I think I do know. Or I'm going to the phone in prison and I'm getting on the phone and I'm calling my mom. And I'm asking my mom, hey, Mom, did you get that package list I sent you? I need some shoes, and I need some hygiene, and I need some stuff. You know, can you send me a package? Or I'm telling her, hey, I'm going to the store next week. Can you put money on my book so I can go to store? Because I'm a man with nothing. I have nothing in life. I have nothing. Everything has been taken away from me, and I'm calling my mom to please provide for me. And it's not like I was a man with nothing one time. I was a man with nothing. You know, like I was a man with nothing one time, and I'm like, oh my God, hey, woo! I don't want to have that happen to me again. I'm never gonna let that happen to me again. Having nothing sucks. No, I was a man with nothing at 18, at 20, at 25, at 30, at 35, at 40, at 42. I was a man with nothing over and over and over and over and over again. And I think it's okay to call my mom to please provide for me. And I think I'm this guy. I think I'm a hard motherfucker. And I think I'm like, it's about respect. No, hell no. Hell no. See, I couldn't see nothing. I couldn't see how pathetic that was. Because I'm blind based upon my feelings, and my ego and my pride won't let me see what I truly am. And that's difficult, you know. So this last time, I went back to, I had thought, because I got this one thing real quick, and it's the difference between an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic. A non-alcoholic will have hopes and dreams and goals and things they want to achieve in life. And they will say, okay, I want to be a good father. I want to be a good husband. I want to have a business. I want to have that house. I want to be great in life. I want to achieve all these things in my life to be fulfilled. And they will change their behavior in order to reach their goals. Like, a normie will go to Burning Man one weekend, right? They'll get out there and they'll maybe eat some shrooms and they'll freaking drink whiskey to oblivion and they'll do some ecstasy and they'll go crazy for a weekend or a weekend in Vegas, and then they will come back on Sunday night and they're like, I am not going to be able to be a good father. I am not going to be able to be a good husband. I am not going to be able to be a good employee or develop a business if I keep doing that shit. That is not it. So they will change their behavior to reach their goals. That's a normie. You know what we do? We change our goals. Hey, I didn't want that freaking loser job anyway. My boss is an asshole. I don't know why I married that bitch. You know what I mean? But my kids don't even like me. I don't like them, And we will change. I don't want that house. I don't want that car. And we will change our goals, but we won't change our behavior. See, I had thought I'd gotten out of prison. I did a 10-year stretch. I did a little over 8 years on it, and I got out. And I thought, look, if I just dedicate myself to going to school, learning new skills, and I think I was 37 at the time, and I'm like, if I get out and I just dedicate myself to something cool, and and I just work really hard and focus my brain on it, I'm gonna be okay because I got lots of potential. I have intelligence. So I got out, but the thing is, I didn't think I was an alcoholic or an addict. I thought an alcoholic was a person that drinks one beer and is off and running, and it's all a wrap. He does one little joint or smokes a little something or does something, and then they're off and running and everything's gone. That's what I thought an alcoholic was. So when I got out of prison that time, I got on the train going home, and I went in the booze car, and I had a couple drinks, and I got home, and I'm fine. And then on the next day I go to school and I sign up for college and I'm taking 19 units and I'm fine. And then on weekends my brother says, hey, let's go to the bar and shoot pool. And I'm going to the bar and I'm shooting pool and I'm drinking some whiskey and I'm fine, man. Like, I'm fine. And I'm going to school and I'm kicking ass and I'm doing this thing for about almost a year, and I'm getting good grades. And occasionally I'll do a little blow, on the weekend. Occasionally I'll smoke a little heroin, but I'm going to school and I got this I'm not off and running, but see, the thing is, it's a progressive deal. That first drink on that train, it kicked off the obsession. And the obsession was slow and subtle. And I tried to control it. And like they say, if you're trying to control your drinking or using, you probably got a problem. And I controlled it because I didn't want to go back to prison. I could try to control it for a year. And then I was off and running. Everything was bad. Everything was bad. I was chipping, chunking. Everything was bad. And then I wound up getting into this point that I'm like, who was I kidding? I'm going to go to school. I'm going to have this new career. I'm going to be a great father. I'm going to be this awesome son. I'm going to do all these. Who was I kidding? I'm this convict, junkie, criminal, gang member guy, and that's who I am, and that's the hand that God dealt me. That's the hand that God dealt me, and that's who I am. Who was I kidding? I changed my goals, but I would not change my behavior. And I wound up going back to prison for 3 more years. When I got out that time, I was 42 years old. I was 42 years old. I was getting out of prison, and I called my mom on the bus coming home, and I'm like, hey, Mom, I just got out. I'm really fit. Everything's cool right now. You know what I mean? I got some job prospects on the horizon. I talked to these guys. You know what I mean? I can't wait to see you and Kayleen. That's my daughter. And I'm like, hey, it's going to be great. Awesome. And my mom said, Danny, I'm glad you called. I have cancer. I'm going to die. And you will never set foot in my house ever again. You're 42 years old. You're not going to change. You're going to die from a heroin overdose, or you're going to do something stupid and go to prison for the rest of your life. I have watched you your entire life. You've made 1,000,000 promises, and you've never kept one. Take care of yourself. Don't call your daughter. Don't call your ex. Don't call Aaron. Don't call anybody. No one wants nothing to do with you. Take care of yourself. My mom was protecting herself from me. She was protecting herself from me. Because all I've ever done is disappoint her and hurt the family and lied and stole and cheated. You think that stopped me with her telling me that? Yeah, it made me feel horrible. But 10 days later, I'm at this weird sober living house in Costa Mesa, and I got a homeboy with me, and we're laughing, and we're shooting dope, and we're drinking whiskey, and we're getting screwed up, and I'm like, who we gonna rob? Who we gonna come up on? What we gonna do? What's up? What's on and cracking? We gotta get busy, you know what I mean? Like, what's up, you know? And then I looked over in the corner of the room, and there's this black trash bag in the corner of the room. And you know what was in that black trash bag? Everything I own. 2 pairs of pants that my mom bought me. Some hygiene that my sister bought me when I was in prison. And all these letters writing all these freaking people about how I was going to be awesome when I got out. And I wrote them all and I meant it all. And here I am acting when 15 years old, I was in Newport Beach and I'm at some weird house with some weird dude and I'm smoking crack and I'm like, how am I going to steal some more money from my mom so I can get some more crack? Because this is amazing. And at 42 years old, I'm in some weird house with some weird guy and I'm laughing and I'm going, how are we going to get some more? I was the exact same person. I had not grown at all. So at that time, I found out some friends of mine were at this program called Woodglen. And someone, you know you're not doing that great when someone you're getting loaded with tells you, hey, you got some friends over there at this rehab that you might want to call. So I called them and I went there. And I got into detox, and then I got into the program, the 90-day program, and I heard this thing. I heard this thing on the program, and this guy came in on this panel, and he says, you know, the program's not you're just going to stop doing drugs and stop drinking and your life's going to be awesome. The program's a 12 steps. And I thought, I've been to 10 rehabs, Salvation Army, Cooper Fellowship, Rock Center 4 times. I've been to all these freaking rehabs, been to thousands of freaking meetings, and I have never done the 12 steps, honestly. Never. So I made this inner commitment, because God was there, and I made this inner commitment that I said, no matter what I think and no matter what I feel, I'm going to complete all 12 of these steps. I'm going to complete all 12 steps, and if I don't like it by the end of the 12 steps, I'm moving to Mexico, and I'm going to shoot dope for the rest of my life, because that's what I said, you know? But I'm going to give it my all for these 12 steps, and I'm going to do everything they tell me to do. Because at that time, I'd seen these other people that I'd done time with, and they were coming up to me asking me, hey, Danny, Hey, Danny, do you need some cigarettes? You need some money? You need a couple bucks? Like, what do you need? We're so glad you're here. Hey, cool, this is a good get down. And I'm like, how the hell did you get so happy? We were at Chino 3 years ago. They're like, I did the 12 steps. And then I seen somebody else, and the same get down, same thing. I got a job, don't worry, when you get out of here, I got a job for you, it's gonna be good, hey, don't trip. I'm like, how the hell did you get happy? We were in Folsom 7 years ago. They're like, I did all 12 steps. So I got a sponsor. I got this sponsor, and okay, highlighter, call him every day, which was really weird, calling a person every day, and I got nothing to say from day to day because I was not grateful or anything. I'm just like, hey, you told me to call you every day, what do I do? You know what I mean? Okay, I'm calling you again every day, same nothing, and I'm just calling him every day. But then he goes, okay, so we did step 1, right? We had done step 1, and he explains it. He goes, okay, step 1. You know what I mean? I get it. Okay, powerlessness. Okay, I get it. You know what I mean? My power, black trash bag. I get it. My power, black trash bag. Okay, I'm powerless. I don't want to have just a black trash bag, but that's what I got with my power. Makes sense. My life's unmanageable. Yeah, I'm in a freaking rehab. I'm 42 years old. Got it. Step 2. Came to believe in a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. Alls I got out of that step, alls I got out of that was like, okay, my power, black trash bag. My power, prison. My power, man with nothing. Got it. If I want more than black trash bag, I gotta have some more power. Okay, makes it clear. Got it. Okay, and I'm insane. I didn't really feel insane, just kind of on a low roll at that time, but okay, I'm insane. Gotcha, whatever, cool. Step 3. He goes, okay, so I call him and he goes, okay, did you memorize the 3rd step prayer? Did you read 60 to 63? Did you copy the 3rd step prayer down 5 times? I like, yes, I did. And he goes, okay, I'll be there. So he comes and he picks me up in his truck. He comes and he picks me up in his $80,000 freaking truck, and I get in that, and see my sponsor, I've done drugs. This guy had 14 years at the time sober, and I'd known him when we used to do drugs together, but now I'd watch that man as I bounced in and out of the program. He continued to grow and grow and grow, and that man always seemed to be happy. So that's why I said finally, hey, why don't you sponsor me? You know this stuff. I've been watching you. I've known you my whole life. It's like, all right. So now he picks me up in his truck, and we go to Burger King. He got me a burger, he got me some smokes, and we're in the cab of his truck, and he goes, okay, now say the 3rd step prayer with me, Danny. I'm like, all right. So he reaches over, and he grabs my hand with interlocking fingers. And he grabs my hand. We say this prayer. God, I offer myself to thee to build with me, do with me as thou wilt, relieve me of the bondage of self. And then we get through the prayer and he goes, amen. And he lets go of my hand and he looks at me with this big smile. And he says, now, Danny, I don't want you to go a day without hitting your knees and saying that 3rd step prayer just like it is in the book. You know what I felt in that moment? Turning my will and my life over to the care of God, holding that man's hand in the cab of his truck, surrendering myself to the Almighty. You know what I felt in that moment? Extremely awkward and uncomfortable. Like, what are we doing, bro? Why do you gotta hold my hand like that? Like, what are we doing? And then I told him, I go, hey, man, here's the thing. I go, look, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, doing this stuff. And, but here's the thing. I don't believe in God. Like, I don't believe in God. Like, I don't believe there's some magic man upstairs listening to all of our prayers, freaking saying, I got good stuff for you if you do my will, and I got nothing for you because you don't do shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe in that stuff. So hitting my knees every day, praying to a God that I don't believe in, I'm probably not going to do that. Let's just do that stuff. Let's just do the writing and reading and stuff. But I'm probably not going to do that because I don't believe in it. And what he told me is he said, you know, Danny, you to say that there is no God, those are your ideas. You not wanting to hit your knees, that resistance, that's your ideas. Then he asked me some questions. He said, where's your happy family, Danny? Don't want nothing to do with me. Where's your home? Do you have a home? Not your mom's home. Do you have a home? I'm at that rehab. Do you have a car? Do you have a bank account? Do you have a job? Do you have a career? Do you have insurance? And then he said, where's your key to any lock? So your ideas basically get you nothing. So maybe the solution to your life is being presented to you right now, but you can't see it because you're so full of your own ideas. And also he said, he goes, you know, when you asked me to sponsor you, I asked you if you're willing to do whatever it takes. And you said yes. Were you lying? No. All right. I'll hit my knees. Okay, man. Stop making me feel bad. You know what prayer's like? Prayer's like if I got this giant bowl of M&Ms, like I got like 1,000 M&Ms in this bowl, and I take one out. Do you notice a difference? If I take one more M&M out of that bowl, do you notice a difference? That's why we stop praying, because we don't notice a difference. But day after day up on my knees saying this prayer to a God I didn't freaking believe in, one more M&M was coming out of that bowl. And day after day another M&M was coming out of that bowl. And I didn't notice a difference. And I was very embarrassed to hit my knees and have anyone see me on my knees praying. And I lived in a room with 4 other people and I had to wait for them all to leave so I could hit my knees and say this little freaking prayer. But I did it every single day and one more M&M was coming out of that bowl. And then I got to my 3rd step. I did my 3rd step and I got to my 4th step, and then I got to my 5th step, and then all of a sudden handfuls of M&Ms were coming out of this bowl, and all of a sudden something started happening to me, and I started feeling braver, and I started feeling lighter, and I wasn't tripping on shit that I always tripped on. I wasn't obsessed about getting loaded. I didn't have as much anger or hate in my heart. Some weird shit was happening to me. All of a sudden I started caring about people in a way that I never have before. All of a sudden I cared about being honest. I cared about keeping my word. All of a sudden things started really happening to me, and I didn't know what the hell, like where did this shit go that I carried for so freaking long? And you know who I am today? The man I'm supposed to be. The man I've always wanted to be. I am the man I've always wanted to be. I've always wanted to be this guy my entire freaking life is this guy. I'm not perfect. I got fears and I got insecurities and I got worries and doubts, but today I can accept them all because I am not alone. Today I have the fellowship of the program. I have a group of freaking badass individuals in my life, and I have a God that's way freaking bigger than me, that I don't walk alone anymore. Do I believe in God today? I cannot take credit for I've always wanted to be this guy my entire life, and it didn't happen until I surrendered and started asking that dude up there to freaking come into my life. And that's how it started happening. Surrendering, joining the winning side. My life is freaking, you know what, I'm a counselor, I went to school, I became a yoga instructor, I became all kinds of stuff. I'm a million different things today. I came into this program a convict, junkie, criminal, gang member, jackass. I am none of those things. The book says that we are reborn, and I am reborn. I care about people in a way that I never have before. My life is of service and giving. I give all over, and I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to take anything from anybody. I just want people to feel the way I feel, because I know that no matter how bad it gets, that we can be something amazing. I know this. I see it every day with my sponsees, and I see it with my recovery community, and I see it in you guys, and I see it in us. And this is so freaking beautiful. The best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire freaking life. I go back to prisons, and I go back into the prisons now. This is a mind-blowing shit. I'm going back in there. Let me in there, and I'm like, hey, you guys, I'm going to tell you guys about a better way of life. You know what I mean? And when I tell them, I know exactly how you feel. Because I do. I know exactly how they feel. I know exactly what it's like to be in that cell. And like I just identify with them. The last time I went to Chino, I got a standing ovation from all these guys in there. Just like, yeah, it's so great. And then I created a foundation about 2 years ago called Standing United. And we just give and serve and help. And it's just amazing. It is. I believe that's what God's will is for us, is to help his people, man. That's God's will. I mean, help his people. I help as many people as I possibly can in my life. You know, before I never got it. Before I just put the plug in the jug and I think that was it. That is not it. That is not it. The program. You know, that's what I got tattooed on my knuckles. Just stay. Just stay, man. Like just stay here, man. They're like, everything that everyone could ever want is right here. We all want to be loved and appreciated and respected and admired, and that's all this. Everything a human being can want is right freaking here, man. You know, that weird thing, we're going to love you till you love yourself. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You know, it's so weird. You know who the happiest alcoholics I know are? You know the happiest alcoholics I know are? The ones that are going to meetings, the ones that are raising their hands, the ones that are shaking hands to newcomers, the ones that are inviting people in, the ones that are working steps, the ones that are on their knees every day, the ones that are freaking actively doing this program, the ones that are freaking working service. Those are the happiest alcoholics I know. You want to be happy? Do what the happy people do. It's not a puzzle, man. So burnt out before my past. I just love Alcoholics Anonymous. I love this program. I love you guys. I don't know all you guys, but I care so freaking much. And it is the most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me. And my life is dedicated to service every day. And I just want people to be able to feel the way that I feel. I'm not happy all the time, but I can accept the times that I'm down. I can accept everything in my life. I can accept it, man. And also I know that it's the most difficult times in my life that we grow the most. God's showing me that. He's like, hey, you need to get stronger. So he dumped some stuff on us so we could be stronger. And then on the other side of that is gratitude, man. God, that's a secret to life. I'm going to end it with this. I'm going to end it with this. You know, if I'm really out of shape, right? I'm really out of shape and I'm really tired and lethargic. And I'm like, man, I need some solution to my life. And then someone tells me, join the gym. Join the gym and it's going to be okay. And I'm like, that is a great idea. I'm going to join the freaking gym. So I go down to the gym and I sign up and I tell them I'm going to be there every day at 6 a.m. without fail. And I go to that gym every day at 6 a.m. and I get there and I'm at the gym and then somebody comes up to me and they say, okay, we're going to do 20 minutes of treadmill today. And I'm like this. I got my phone and I'm like, yeah, go ahead with that treadmill stuff. I'm going to be right here. I'm coming to the gym every day, 6 a.m. I'm going to be here for an hour. But go ahead with that treadmill stuff. And then the next day I show up at 6 a.m. and someone says, hey, Danny, we're going to do push-ups and we're going to do squats today and it's going to be great. And I'm like, hey, I said I'm coming to the gym every day, 6 a.m. I'm going to be here for an hour, but go handle those squats. I'm going to be right here. And every day I just stand there and I watch and I listen. Every day I go to the gym, I stand there and I watch everyone working out and I listen to what everyone has to say. Every single day for an hour, I watch and listen. At the end of 6 months, I'm like, I am more tired than I've ever freaking been. The gym doesn't work, man. That's his program. For years, all I did was watch and listen. I never worked out. I didn't get a sponsor. I didn't get in the book. I didn't hit my knees. I didn't welcome newcomers. I didn't go out there and get commitments at meetings. I didn't freaking care about anybody. I didn't practice the principles of the program. I didn't do nothing. I didn't work on my inventories. I didn't work on my character defects. I didn't do nothing. I watched and listened for years and I expected results. The happiest alcoholics I know are the ones working out in the gym. And that's us, obviously. We wouldn't be here. Hey, you guys, I'll end it with that. I love you guys. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. It's an honor and a privilege. And I just could keep going on and on and on. And God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Thanks, brother.
Excellent.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.